Welcome everybody to this opportunity to meet the great people, Di and Cath Woolridge. So they have been
welcome.
Great friends since we moved to Wales, and we've had the privilege of connecting with them in all sorts of different ways over the last almost 10 years, I suppose it is now.
Yeah, I think it is.
Wow.
That's mad.
It is mad.
Crazy.
Oh, it is mad. And so it's a great opportunity for you guys to be able to see the faces behind these names and to hear a little bit of their story. So I'm just going to...
Will, could you just say that line again? Faces behind the names.
Faces behind the names.
I just thought I could do like an unveiling. Sorry, I just...
Wonderful. Right, we're going to launch in with the just finding out a little bit about the sweep of your creative lives. So could you give us, in a nutshell, what has been the creative arc, the story of your lives so far?
Well, Davs and I actually have known one another since we were 4 and 5 years old, and we were part of an amazing church in a little town called Ammanford in West Wales, and the church was just full of creativity. We had drama clubs, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was singing from a very young age in lots of different kind of contexts. And
I think that was huge, wasn't it? I think ever since we were kids, we were given just the freedom just to kind of have a go, really, and to try being creative. And we were kind of not thrown in the deep end, but just in a kind of brilliant way, just that kind of releasing of go, try, do. And I think it kind of I think we didn't really have a huge kind of overwhelming sense of I have to get this 100% perfect or I'm going to feel like a failure.
Yeah.
I think we had that kind of, and I think that gave us kind of confidence and creativity to have a go at a young age. And I think that really kind of instilled a passion in us as well.
It did. And I think we went to the same school, and so I had an amazing music teacher, and we both had the same drama teacher. And
is that why I'm so rubbish at music? Because I didn't have that music teacher?
I think it might be. Yeah, okay. That was a wrong decision.
So it's all making sense. No, but it was, wasn't it? And I think, I mean, if we look back through our lives and see that, we've been in kind of like plays together in school, even in junior school. Wait, you were in Cinderella, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Who were you in Cinderella?
I was one of the coachmen.
No, you weren't. I was one of the coachmen. Are
you serious? Anyway, we haven't got time.
What, in primary school?
Yeah, anyway, let's go. Let's learn.
Still learning things about each other.
Yeah. And then we obviously, we just figured that this is what we wanted to do with our lives. So I went to the Welsh College of Music and Drama and studied acting. And you?
Yeah, so I did a year out with Glenwood, with Glenwood Church in Cardiff, and going public, and just really kind of had a sense of creativity in connection with my faith was something that really kind of inspired me. I met the late Rob Lacey, who was a wordsmith and a storyteller, and I think I just kind of felt a real heart connection creatively with him, really, and what he was doing and how he was trying to make Jesus accessible and down to earth, and kind of culturally show that he's culturally relevant. I kind of thought, wow, I really liked, I was inspired by that. So I then went off to uni, studied drama as a degree, and kind of took that, what God was stirring in my heart into my degree, and and I was able to shape my my kind of projects and dissertations around that, which was great.
Yeah. And then after uni, I did a bit of kind of professional acting work on TV and in some theatres.
I've seen you on something, haven't I?
You may have, Dave.
Gavin and Stacey?
Gavin and Stacey.
Wow.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Okay, let's not go there.
And then we both landed a job with Going Public Theatre Company, which is it was a Christian educational theatre company that took pieces of theatre into schools all around the nation, just educating people on well-being and healthy relationships. And we were also a part of the Lacey Theatre Company, which was a privilege, and we toured all around the UK again with the Liberator.
Did Spring Harvest with Lacey Company and Abby Guinness, Ellen and Lucy.
And then off the back of that, I think, you know, Sound of Wales came to life, which I'll talk about in a little bit for myself. And then
well, I think, I mean, in a very big nutshell, our first year of marriage, because we obviously got married, it's not a spoiler alert, is it? Because we're obviously now together. But, you know, I think we kind of realized there was a sense of, it was a bit all in. We had the same job. We just got married. And, you know, I think it was just a bit intense environment for us at the beginning, wasn't it? And so we had this role where we went into schools, we did drama. But then I think going public and Glenn were really helpful, because they kind of were like, okay, well, maybe try and explore your creative passions in different ways. And so you kind of were exploring going into worship more rather than just acting and music. And I kind of thought, okay, I want to kind of start shaping, you know, writing sketches, one-man shows, and honing my craft as a storyteller. So I think we've both kind of done this, haven't we? And now we're kind of coming back, which is quite cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Davs is the creative specialist in Bible Society, and he's started a ministry called Spoken Truth, which he'll talk about later. And so that's where we're at now, really.
Thanks for that. So, Cath, do you want to then tell us a little about Sound of Wales, which we pray for each week, but it'd be great just to hear more from you about it all.
Yeah, thank you so much for your prayers. I think, you know, as Wales, we're known as a nation that is rich in spiritual heritage, and a big part of that is song. A big part of that is poetry, and so creativity is in our veins, you know. And I think it translates the spiritual song across culture. And I think God just really challenged me, you know, and was speaking to me very clearly about starting a movement of creatives within this nation of creativity, about 9 years ago now. And so has 3 strands to it, essentially. And the first is capture the sound. So that looks very different in creating albums, in, you know, trying to impact the church, and it looks like, you know, putting together kind of creative performances, doing lots of gigs in different spheres. The second strand is training and equipping generations. So recognizing that the buck doesn't stop with us, but we've got stuff to pass on, you know, being really radical in training all generations, letting everybody know that everybody is creative, and putting on schools of worship, children's school of creativity, training days across the nation within worship, music, and the wider scope of creativity. And then impacting communities, which has looked like community choirs, which has looked like going into prisons, going into hospitals, going into schools, using music essentially as the vehicle to take the gospel out into the world.
That's brilliant. Very
so not much.
It's an amazing vision. So much more you could say, I know, but there's a really exciting initiative that you're going to launch, in fact.
Yeah.
31st of October.
Absolutely.
Oh, tell us all about the Creative Exchange. What's that about?
So, you know, we are currently in the middle of the pandemic, all gigs cancelled, all ability to go into schools, prisons, all that work I just talked about. So thinking about how we can engage with culture, engage with people as creatives at this time. And I just had this idea for an online school of creativity from this nation of creativity, that hopefully can impact not just people in Wales, but across the world. And so getting TED-like talks on different spheres of creativity. So we've got, you know, some on vulnerability in creativity. We've got some that look like workshops, drum workshops, art workshops. We've got some that are interviews with some incredible kind of creative minds from across the world. And yeah, just putting this content out there. But while we put the content out there, almost creating a creative community as well. So once a month, hopefully we'll meet on Zoom and people can share some of the work that they've created, and just letting people know that, you know, creativity is a process, that it doesn't always look brilliant, to encourage people that failure is a part of the story, to encourage people that taking risks is brilliant. And so yeah, we launched this school on the 31st of October, and it's basically just at the minute a plethora of classes, of workshops, of inspirational teaching around the theme of creativity across the board. And we even look at things like creativity in homeschooling, creativity within the home. It's, you know, it's not just about music or just about drama. I
think that's something that's quite exciting about it, is that we're exploring creativity in kind of all spheres, aren't we? That, you know, we can, we want to kind of highlight the fact that we can all be creative, but our way and means of being creative can be very different. It's not just the stereotypical, you know, Cath sings beautifully, I try and do poetry. You know, there's so much more diversity in that, you know, and how we kind of think outside the box and be creative with how we kind of operate day to day in this pandemic. I mean, there's, you know, we have to be creative in that as well, don't we? So I think that's something that's really exciting about this. It kind of looks, you know, hopefully at a breadth, a real variety, and we want to link our faith in as well, you know, because it's all connected. We want to be creative because we want to reflect the ultimate creator, God himself, God the Father. God, the triune God.
And it is called creative exchange because the ultimate exchange has been won in Christ Jesus. You know, he has won beauty for our ashes. He has won hope for our despair. And, you know, it's just hopefully going to be a place of exchange where captive creatives come and they feel like they can be free again and fly, and lonely creatives come and they feel like they can be surrounded. You know, disappointed creatives can come and feel like they can be inspired again. And yes, through community, but more so by pointing to the liberator of all time.
That's brilliant. And so, Di, can you you work for the Bible Society in creative capacity? Can you tell us a bit about your some of your creative projects with the Bible Society?
Yeah, and of course. So yeah, I mean, it's just been a great kind of journey for me, because I've kind of gone from you know, trying to kind of do one-man show storytelling stuff through going to Bible Society, and then being able to have the ability to think about how I can creatively engage people with the Bible and the message of the Bible. So that's been really exciting. So I'm creative specialist for Bible Society. A big part of that is Bible engagement, and looking at, we've kind of done this big research project at Bible Society, and out of it, we've kind of, this 20,000 person survey, we've kind of identified different personas and how different people in the UK engage with faith, but also the Bible. And so within my department, Bible Academy, it's all about trying to raise confidence in the Bible, in the church, with Bible loving people, and Bible infrequent people. So those kind of two areas, we want to kind of really equip people in the church to have a better confidence of the Bible, not just thinking knowledge, but how they interact with it, how they navigate around it, how they apply it to their everyday lives, and how they kind of missionally tell it to other people as well. So that's like a snapshot of our sort of strategy as a team. And then within that, I'm really passionate about, just kind of creatively storytelling Jesus. So Christmas is one of my favorite times of year, because it's just an opportunity to share Jesus at a time when people, I think, just interact with the Christmas story if they're kind of aware of it or not. So I've done little things. I've done a little book called The Christmas Story, which just kind of playfully unpacks the true meaning of Christmas. And it's just really interesting for this year, because I wrote it last year before the pandemic hit. And the whole theme of this is that life can be messy, but Jesus was born in the mess. He entered our mess for our mess. That's the kind of theme of the book. And I just remember thinking, crumbs, this is more kind of apt now than when I wrote it. So I've done like a little postcard here that just kind of connects COVID to Christmas, but how Jesus is the one who put in the perfect shift for us, so we don't have to be socially distanced from God. So I think that's a kind of big part of my heart, is just storytelling Jesus in the language of our culture, the language of our day. So Christmas resources I've been working on. Going to be doing a spoken word film hopefully for the end of this year as well, and just try and come up with various different tools and techniques. So that's kind of a little bit of what I'm up to at the minute.
Exciting. It's so brilliant to hear about it all. And I'm so excited about our partnership together in terms of...
Definitely, we are too.
So that's going to be great. Just to finish, maybe a final question about who has most inspired your creative lives?
Good. I'll do you a deal.
One.
You say me and I'll say you. on three. To make it look really kind of, sincere.
Actually, my
1, 2, 3.
My die. Well, you are one, my booty. Can I just say? I think one person, and I think this would be for both of us, but I'll let Dad answer himself. Is Kevin Adams, who was our pastor growing up, and also like our spiritual father. He was a radical man after God's heart. He was barking mad, as you can probably see. We've kind of,
I'm completely normal.
And I never forget him saying, like, Cath, like, don't settle for being what this world thinks is normal, like the normal. He was like, just be you. Think outside the box and dream and imagine. And he'd be saying it in his deep Welsh accent. And I think that man has had such a radical influence on both our lives. He was a historian of Welsh revival, so that's probably where we got the passion for that on. And he was a beautiful creative, and just more than anything, he loved his Jesus. And so he was a huge influence on us.
Brilliant. That's great.
Oh yeah, I fully agree with that. I think like I said earlier, he gave us a kind of platform to try, and I think with that has come a sense of we don't, being creative, sometimes you've got to, or a lot of the time you've got to take risks, and I think there can be real beauty and nuggets that can come from that, and I think he helped instill that us in just having a go. And I think that's something that I'm really passionate about. And yeah, so Kev was a big influence on us. And then, Rob Lacey, I think another one for me as well, I mentioned earlier. I think the way he kind of mastered words to communicate God in a kind of relational, accessible way, just really struck a chord with me. And I think, God kind of instill a heart in me to try and do, similar as me. So I think he's been a big influence. I know he kind of influenced you as well, didn't he? But I think those are kind of two guys. But so many others in different respects as well. But I think those two probably spring to mind.
Brilliant. Well, that's been fantastic. Thanks so much, guys. It's always an absolute delight and pleasure to connect with you and to hear your hearts of passion, always communicated so eloquently and so passionately. We love it. So thanks, guys. And we look forward to our future interactions.
Absolutely. Big love.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
We love you, Will.
Great to hang out with you.
Yeah.